Hi, friend, and welcome to another episode of the Quantum Paradigm Podcast. I'm here tonight. If you're catching this live, you will see that it is very dark behind me. I'm actually recording this on the evening of the full moon in Cancer, and I thought that was very fitting because we're going to talk about something that may be a little scary. It doesn't need to be. You guys know how I feel about the frequency of fear and how it is very helpful. Like fear can be helpful. Hi, my son is joining live. That's so fun. Hi, buddy. So fear can be really helpful because it keeps us alive, right? It helps us survive difficult situations. But if you've been around me for very long at all, longer than 5 minutes, you know that my mantra is don't create from fear, don't act, don't make any kind of decision based on a fear frequency, ever, unless your life is actually in danger, right? Like that 1% of situations where your life is actually in danger, then yes, you need to make decisions based out of that fear frequency. It will keep you alive. However, in our day-to-day life, that's not the case. So what I'm going to talk about today, while it may be a little scary to some, it doesn't need to be, okay? So just really like if you feel yourself getting nervous or worried as I talk, I want you to pause the podcast and take a moment and take some deep breaths and regulate your nervous system and come back to it, okay? What we're talking about today is what you need in 2025 in order to survive, let alone thrive. Now, I'm not using the word survive like you need to have this or else you're going to croak. That's not what I'm saying. But if you want to like make it out the other end of 2025 and not be totally traumatized, then you really need to deepen what we're going to talk about today. Okay. Because astrologically speaking, all the astrologers, we've been, I'm not an astrologer, but I follow multiple astrologers very, very closely. And really the sentiment is the same. And when I look at the human design transits, when I kind of look and just tune into the collective energy, 2025 is shaping up to be quite the ride. So is 26 and definitely 27. So we're really in the waves of this new paradigm being born. It's like we're in labor with this new paradigm. You guys know I was a childbirth doula for 13 years. I've seen all kinds of different labors in all kinds of different forms. This labor is one of those long ones, okay? And the end product is going to be amazing. However, getting there is definitely a process. And we are in the point in time right now where if you're not committed to this journey, you're going to really feel the effects. I've been saying online for a while, 2025 will suffer no fools. Okay, we're going to talk about that. I've actually been talking to my email list for 2 years. Since March of 2023 was when I started saying exactly what I'm going to tell you today. What I would say, so let's reverse 2 years and I'll tell you what I was writing to them 2 years ago. That was, I was saying, you must have this one skill set in order to survive the future. And it's a head trip, guys, because the future's here now. These times is what I was predicting 2 years ago. 2 years ago, let's just review. 2 years ago, AI, nobody really has heard of it. Or if they heard of it, they thought it was some far off thing. Now, the people who've been working in the AI sector for decades have known about this for decades. But the public, it wasn't rolled out to the public 2 years ago. Nobody knew about this. It wasn't on anybody's radar, right? However, I've seen this coming. I've seen this whole technology revolution coming. You guys know that I've had psychic downloads since I was very young. None of this is new to me. Okay, so 2 years ago in March of 2023, I was emailing my list members and saying, you need this one skill set in order to survive the future. And this is the skill set that you need because the future is here right now. You need, dear listener, you need the deepest, most solid connection to your intuitive inner guidance that you can possibly have in order to survive, let alone thrive, the year that we are coming up into. Okay? I was just listening to a market report, predictions on the financial market for 2025. Now, of course, nobody can accurately 100% predict the market, but these guys are pretty good at what they do. And there's quite a bit of volatility being predicted. Please do not be scared. Please, for the love of God, if you hear me say and predict that there's volatility coming up in the market, for the love of all creation, do not clench up energetically and stop the flow of money in your life. Okay. Don't start hoarding. Don't start like getting this scarcity mindset of, oh my God, I'm not going to have enough. So I better save everything now and not, saving is great. Don't get me wrong, but don't start making decisions out of fear. Do you hear me? Like, I really need you to get this. If you want to thrive in 2025, if you're a leader, if you're a healer, if you're a business owner, I need you to hear me on this and really take it to heart. Do not make decisions based out of fear, no matter what comes this year. I can make a rap out of that. That just rhymed. Do not make any decisions based out of fear, no matter what comes your way this year. I'm standing here telling you this now. I've really embodied this truth of not making decisions based out of fear. Unless there's a bus coming down the street and it's about to hit me, then I get afraid and I move out of the way of that bus. That's the 1% where fear keeps you alive. The fear will keep you alive if you're in the dark alley, walking alone. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you hear about predictions in the market. I'm talking about when TikTok is banned overnight. You guys want to know how I avoided my entire business being thrown out the window with all these other content creators? People that I personally know are scrambling because the way that they make their income is based off of this one platform. Do you want to know how I avoided that? I had multiple mentors telling me that I should explore TikTok. And I said, no way. No way, Jose. Did I have a crystal ball knowing that this was going to happen? Sort of, kind of, you know how? Because I am so connected to my intuitive inner guidance that when I tuned into my body's energetic responses to the thought of going on TikTok, and this is what I do. I check in with my inner guidance every single time I'm going to make a decision in business. When I checked in, and this was about a year ago when I was being strongly advised to explore this platform, it was a no, absolutely not. And I did have some background as well. Like I actually did foresee this coming this day with that particular platform. I did. I could never have predicted. I didn't predict that Trump would be the next president again. That's not what I'm saying, but I knew something about this platform was not stable. And so I did not put any of my business on there. And because of that, now when so many online digital creators are scrambling and having trouble not knowing where their next monthly income is going to even come from, I'm sitting pretty over here. Thank God. I'm not boasting. I'm just saying, like, thank goodness I listened to my inner guidance. And that's why I'm here, like, imploring you, telling you, if you want to survive the volatility that we're already starting to see at the beginning of this year, then you need to have a rock solid relationship with your intuition so that when you get those pings, when you get those nudges, when you get the whatever, you don't question it for a second. You just move. You just move and you just act in that clear space of alignment, of energetic alignment. This has saved my ass. I cannot tell you how many times. And it has helped me build wealth in a very short amount of time, right? It has brought me just insane connections. This is not an accident. None of this is by accident. It's by design. And speaking of design, I open up my human design readings a couple times a year in Q1 and Q3. It is Q1 and human design readings are open. If you are interested, you can go to my website, AllisonAlchemia.com, AllisonAlchemia.com. And under the Work With Me tab, you'll find human design readings. Go schedule one. If you are new to the human design system, schedule yourself a reading if you've never had one done before. This will help you tune into your intuitive guidance. Okay? It'll get you there really quickly. It'll help you unlock so many things that you kind of sort of knew, you thought you knew, but you weren't really sure that you knew. And then I'll sit there and say, hey, this is why it's always been that way. Listen up to your intuition. Your intuition is going to manifest in different ways depending on what your human design is. Okay, so that's why it's helpful to know a little bit more about it. You don't even have to be an expert on your chart. I gave a presentation the other night in my own home. I was so blessed and honored to host the dames at my home here in Colorado a few nights ago, and we did a presentation on quantum manifestation. And I was telling them, because human design works into that. It's a huge part of what I consider to be quantum manifestation. And my point to them about that was, you don't have to be an expert on your human design chart to get a giant return on investment. Like if you can just master 5% of your chart, 5%, it will change your life forever and start bringing prosperity and happiness and wealth and joy and all these beautiful high vibing frequencies that we all enjoy. It will bring it to you like a waterfall. Okay, so go to the website, book your reading, get one for 2025. I shut those down as we progress into the year because I have to shift my energy and my time elsewhere as we go along. So let me tune into whatever wants to come through. Yeah. So this year, guys, it's going to be the wild west. And we've got huge changes coming with currency, with digital currency. We have huge power transitions happening in the United States of America, which affects the entire world. We've got all kinds of things on the docket for 2025. And your intuition will always steer you in the right direction. So no matter what happens with AI, no matter what happens with digital currency, no matter what happens with the exchanges of power, and there's even some astrology that's talking about some things that may happen that the news cycles have not even started talking about. I'm not going to start talking about it here because I do not want to be I don't want this podcast to be affected in any way, if you can read between the lines there. So all that to say, if you have a practice that brings you closer to your intuition, do it now. Do it consistently. If you are looking for some extra guidance, reach out to me. The easiest way to get in touch with me is on Instagram at Alchemy with Allison. I offer so many things to assist and guide in this process. I'm just really full of this this passionate burden for the collective right now, because I do tap into the quantum field and I can feel how scared everyone's starting to kind of get. And I understand why. It's understandable. I mean, my gosh, these people on TikTok, they're freaking out, and I get it. I understand it. But I want to help you avoid those things and not only survive, but really thrive and take off when other people are, have really listened to other people. This is what happens when you externalize your guidance and you start listening to other people instead of trusting yourself first and foremost. Okay, so, my cat just knocked my ring light off the table, so the podcast is still going. You guys can still hear me. However, if you're watching live, it's dark. The only thing I was going to say at the end of this episode is that if you are feeling called to lean further into your intuition so that you can not only survive 2025, but thrive. I would love to invite you to an upcoming masterclass that I'm doing on quantum manifestation. It's totally free. The best and easiest way to do that right now is to reach out to me on Instagram and ask for an invite. And I will put you on the list. You'll get invited. This class is pretty much the most important one I've ever done before. You will definitely want to be part of this. It's going to be epic, and it's going to be really important for helping you tune into your deepest intuitive guidance as we move forward. So I am going to log off because, again, I'm live and totally in the dark, which I think is completely fitting for the topic that we've been discussing tonight. I love you so much. Thanks for hanging in on the episode. I will be back same time, same place next week. Bye.